Okay, I'm about to sound like an old man, and I'm about to complain about social media because I think we live in a world where we have this expectation of always having the newest, nicest, biggest, shiniest things, and so that we can post them on social media. And so people will like us, be impressed by us, and perceive us as cool or hip. But I can promise you, life is not about that. Like, life is not about the materials that you gather and how new and shiny the things you own are. Life is about moments. And I can promise you, like, I've done therapy with people towards the end of their life. And I've done therapy with wealthy people towards the end of their life. I've done therapy with non-wealthy people towards the end of their life, and everything in between. And none of them ever talked about, man, I'm so glad I was able to buy a new phone as frequently as I could. And I'm so glad I was able to buy a bunch of cars. Like, they never talk about that stuff. Ever, ever, ever. Because that's really bullshit. Like, that's not what life is about. Life is about really simple things. And I want to share the power, impact, and importance of that. So welcome back to the aha moments, where every day I share the lessons I've learned in my work as a psychotherapist and in my life to inspire you to live your very best life. Of course, I'm your host, Elliott Connie. You know, a lot of us are fortunate enough to have nice things. And I would say all of us have nice things compared to some of the really less fortunate people in our community and in our society and in our world, quite frankly. But there's such a pull, such a pressure to like try to acquire the nicest things you can and to put those things on social media and to try to impress other people. But life is really about like really, really small moments. And I think about this couple that I saw. I never did therapy with them. I literally just saw them, and I used to see them all the time. In where my office was, when I had an in-person office, I now do therapy on Zoom. But when I had an in-person office, I would, when I had some breaks in my day, I would go get lunch in a town square. And every day I went to this town square, there was this couple. And they were older, probably 70, 80. And they would sit, there was this fountain, and they would sit by this fountain and feed pigeons. And they would be there for a really long time. Like, I would see them when I walked in to where I was getting my food, and I would see them when I was coming out. So they would be there for a good while. And when I walked in, it looked like they had been there for a while. And when I left, it looked like they weren't about to leave, but they would sit there. I saw that couple sit at that water fountain, talking, holding hands, feeding the birds for years. And then one day I noticed, I walked in, I went to get my lunch, and one day I noticed that the man was sitting by himself. And I remember thinking, oh, his wife couldn't join him today. You saw this couple at this water fountain every day, and his wife couldn't join him today. And the next day, the next week, the man was just showing up by himself, and it hit me, man, like she's probably passed, because I never saw her there again. It was just him from then on. And I can guarantee you, from my experience as a psychotherapist, I can guarantee you, if I asked that man, and every now and then, by the way, you'd see him and he looked sad. It just looked different, felt different. And I can guarantee you, if I asked that man, would you be willing to empty your bank account and trade every material item that you own for one more day to sit at this fountain with your wife? Would you do it? I would guarantee you that man would do that in the blink of an eye. Wouldn't even think about it. And he would consider it an absolute bargain to empty his entire bank account and forfeit everything he owns to have one more moment to sit at that water fountain with his wife. I never spoke a word to that man, but I just was in awe over the years that I had my office in that area. Like, he knows the secret of life, and the secret of life is like that little stuff. And the reason we have to pay attention to it is because it's not going to be around forever. Like our spouses will pass, our children grow old and move out. Like everything changes over the course of time. And I wish more people knew that. And I wish more people realized that this whole chase for material items to impress other people is just bullshit. Life is about those moments when you're sitting at a water fountain, holding the hands of someone you love dearly. So if you want to address your mental health, if you want to make your life wonderful, create more moments like that. You are never going to find it in the newest watch, car, home. You'll find it in those meaningful connections. That's my challenge for you today. Thanks for being here. If you wouldn't mind doing me a super huge favor, I would love it if you would share this podcast with at least one person in your life that you think could benefit from hearing this message today. And also don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts or anywhere else you listen to your podcast. And also follow me on all of the social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky. You can search for my name, Elliott Connie, or at Elliott Speaks. That's my handle across all platforms. Can't wait to see you tomorrow.